Welcome to Lily Poetry Review's reading for BOOG City Festival. I'm so happy to be here, and we are all so grateful to David Kirschenbaum for inviting us. Lily Poetry Review publishes chapbooks and full-length collections from Whitman, Massachusetts, of books with a penchant for concision, strong imagery, inventive language, and emotional authenticity. We've published nearly 20 collections thus far in 2 years, and also published the Lily Poetry Review, an international poetry journal, which publishes art, fiction, and poetry. We're very grateful to be here today and look forward to sharing our work. We'll start with Miriam O'Neill.
Thanks, Eileen, for that introduction. I'm Miriam O'Neill, and I'm so happy to be a part of the Lily Poetry family. I'll be reading from my book, The Body Dialogues, and here we go. This is a true story. Gender studies. When he's 4, my son tells me he's had a past life. I was a dresser, he reports, and I had 3 drawers. If one of my drawers was open, I was female. When all my drawers were closed, I was male. He doesn't say what this means, thinks it's all been explained. Field. 1. In the 100-acre field of mist that hovers above the grass, deer graze before dawn. Button bucks' tails flick white in the sheer, wet silver. Birds and crickets silenced by the dew's weight. The coral disk of sun just rising. A soul suspended over its abandoned body. 2. On Lesbos, the boats arrive in little fleets, out of the early fog or the solid dark of night. A small armada, they appear on the horizon. Their lights slip across the water, and from the shore, lights blink back. Aphrodite gives the children the clothes of her children. The blue field of the Aegean surges, the sand beneath their feet pulled back as they step ashore. She gives the grown-ups bread and tea, the children milk and bread. This is what it takes to tell the body, you are here. Homesick. On the 11th day, I grow weary of my beloved. She's noise in my head, the rattle of loose shutters I have closed to cool my rooms. Voglio, ho voluto, vorrò. I want, I have wanted, I will want. My mind objects to more translation, can't hear the conjugated verbs, the pronomi indicativi, me and you in present form, always in the familiar. This poem is dedicated to my dad. Swimming lesson. He will stand close but separate, ink-stained fingers fiddling with pocket change, having come from the presses, through the city, in, then out of the Callahan Tunnel, straight to Logan, to send her on her way. Later, she will wake to see the sunrise and notice she has not she is not surprised to see she is above the clouds. Notice nothing about flying amazes her. Not the moment when she enters the white caves, not when she leaves them, not the wild roar that settles in her spine. But that night when they call her flight, and people who have been moving aimlessly in their spaces and at last lift knapsacks, shake hands, blow kisses, wave goodbye. He will take her in his arms, hold her the way the sea held her as a child, where arms spread wide, hands empty, she perfected the art of not holding on. And for an instant, man and girl will seem one body in that human tide, until somebody knocks or pulls at something blocked by their embrace. Embarrassed, he will toss her off, where she will sink into the crowd, close her mouth through instinct, surface. All that summer, he will feel the way his daughter slid from his arms. And this is the first poem in the book, Anima. Second poem, Anima. Across from Carbet's farm, the creek that fed the bog, tips of willow limbs trapped in snow, a gurgle beneath the ice, like the chortle in a baby's throat before she has words. Knees wet after drinking from a skate-hacked hole, mouth burned inside with cold, lips cracked. Safe from hockey's slapped pucks, from skating skirted girls who chip with picks to show how they can twirl. Heaven is anywhere alone and close to water, its lovely guttering. I remember my hands as paws. Thank you.
That was so beautiful, Miriam. My name is Chloe Elena Miller, and I'll be reading from Viable today. This is a lyric memoir about a miscarriage and postpartum depression following a second pregnancy. And I'll start with the first poem of the book, Mid-30s. Pigtails undone, she hides behind her mother's legs, two tiny hands around one adult knee. Mother leans down, whispers in her daughter's ear. Child smiles, tilts her head, loosens her knee grip. I too know what I would say to a shy child, given the chance. Short duet, dualities. Unlike you, who stopped being 2 weeks ago, still tucked inside, points of light, almost fireflies, searching for someone, mate or prey, but then empty air. My internal eye pressure flashes like an alarm. On the medical screen, a rounded sack, galactic space debris, that particular quiet of a single heartbeat. Words rhythm originates in blood flow, the opening and closing of chambers. Internal iambic pentameter. Here I am, left with one song. The doctor probes, searches for you where you were. Removal. 3 vaginal abortion pills for $4.35. 1 sick day, generic pain medication, hot water bottle, and tea. The opening and closing, release. Goodbye, my sweet. The noun miscarriage conducts images like electricity. My mother pushed her baby in a tall red carriage. Here sunshine, there a new bonnet. Shock seen and unseen beneath the tires. This next poem is from a series of vocabulary poems in which I define a word either in English or Italian with an image or a metaphor. And this is English vocabulary, eclipse. They pass through each other's shadows. Mothers gesture with ringed fingers, share sorrow in a stored language of muscle memory. When we held our infants, what did and did not come after. That precious sorrow visible in a bent arm, downturned face, the pause, the passing, the pause. And this next poem, Children's Pool Game, was set to music by composer Lawrence Bovalco, who took a number of poems from this collection and titled it Baby Book and sent them to music, which has been really interesting to see how they transformed into something new. Children's Pool Game. Even with closed eyes, we can find each other again. I'll shout, Marco. You'll shout, Polo. Okay? Marco. And this last poem is the final poem of the collection, and it begins with an epigraph from a piece in the Smithsonian Magazine in March 2018 by Richard Grant titled, Do Trees Talk to Each Other? And the epigraph reads, for young saplings in a deeply shaded part of the forest, the network is literally a lifeline. Lacking the sunlight to photosynthesize, they survive because big trees, including their parents, pump sugar into their roots through the network. And this is the poem. Your creation story. That time your father was a stranger to me, he leaned against a statue of a man on a horse. The man's eyes sprouted from fallen seeds and rain. Your father and I said hello in the middle of a New York City square. He rolled up a newspaper, there were newspapers then, and we walked. I tripped over uprooted sidewalk slabs, city planning be damned. We ate outside, ignored the squirrels and pigeons. A few seasons later, we imagined the possibilities of a you, a tiny seed with a full coat. You and I swelled outward as your coat split, and I found clothes that stretched. In an office built over subway tunnels, we saw your silhouette, lit as if science were magic. We heard your quickly beating heart, walked home, our footsteps adding to the rhythm. 3 weeks early that spring, you came into the dry world. This is all true, but also not, because so much is missing, like the sun impossibly above us here and not warming us just enough. It comes to this. Your creation is yours. I was your home. Now we all nudge you forward, make room for you to see out. Balancing between the creek and trees, we walk the pipe path. Sometimes you run ahead, but we keep you in our sight. Thank you.
Thank you, Chloe. My name is Marcia Karp, and I'm going to be reading from my recently published Lily, If by Song. Housekeeping. The keeping of this house has nothing to do with love. The window shades are drawn at dusk, rolled up again at dawn. The sheets are changed each Sunday night. Bread is baked each Sunday night. Sunday night, the lists are made, the money drawn on Monday. Each night, the bedroom door is shut against the prowling cat, who's well behaved except at dawn. The dishes from the day are washed each night. Friday morning, garbage goes, paper, tins, and glass each second Friday morning. Mornings, half a tin and water. Evenings, water, half a tin of cat food. Wash the tin and put it in the thumbtacked sink side bag. Pay bills the Thursday just when due. When drawing money Monday, move savings money into checking. Items on the list are checked when done and X'd if not, then copied to a list of undone items. An item X'd for 2 weeks must get done, or no penalty has yet been found, which gets an item done. All day Wednesday, think of love, feel unloved each day at dusk. Saturday, wonder where time's flown, fly off the handle Tuesday on the bus. Brush the cat and take a bath Saturday or Wednesday. The rituals in this house have nothing to do with love. The toaster must be watched. The kitchen floor is swept each day. The windows washed each spring. Each spring others manage love. The rugs are vacuumed twice each month. The curtains washed by boiling. Call for the child, call for the dame. Shame is the name and rudimentary game someone plays now with you. Call her to home. If she comes at all, blamed faced it is, absolving she would, crime done by crime claimed. Call her to task. If she bears it at all, she'll cry, why did I, why? Salting the docket to mush. Call her to arms where she'd like most to be, and so will have none. She'd have you cradle no one. Call her to mind. What a shame. What remains are the game and the name and their claims. This is a translation. Brother, multas purgentes, frater, Catullus. Driven through people and places, I am come to this terrible service, brother, so I might give you your last gift, the death gift, might talk to your ashes, might listen in vain for their voice. Since your life took you from me, seized you, unjust, brother, misery took you from me. Now, as we were taught by our parents here, I offer my last gift, a death gift. Take it, wrapped only in brotherly tears. And always, my brother, now I have found you. Farewell. And this is Catullus in a different mood, taking the measure of a local fellow. Ranking Aemilius from Catullus. Holy gods, the whole of him stinks. The hole where food enters, the hole where it leaves. Aemilius might swap them about. Yet the truth of the stench is, it's sweeter below, for his seat has no teeth, and the teeth for his meat are each half a foot over a foot, carried upon gray and veterate palates, no gums holding fast. When he laughs, he flaps open, portraying a she-mule who puddles the dust of a summer gone sour. He has his women and thinks he's quite comely, and he's never been given to tend to the back of a grinding wheels drudge ass. Don't we think, yes, we do, that the woman who knows him dines on the refuse the hanging man leaves? Thank you.
Thank you. That was amazing. My name is Mary Lou Bushy, and this is my book Paddock that I will be reading from. What you need to know about Paddock is that it is a play in poems. There are 3 characters and a chorus. Chorus. Once, as there are many, time stretches infinitely. 2 girls set forth to find a mother. Who is she? Who is I? Who is dear? They set off. Girl 1. There is a nest of thistle we must pass and a shadow gliding over us. Girl 2. What are we waiting for? Girl 1. Lures slipping into streams, burrs stuck to white cotton dresses, and the light. There is so much of it. Girl 2. I'm tired. I need. Girl 1. Keep moving. The wren pleads for us. Twilight. He was in the brook, pants down round his ankles. He had a gun, a knife, a love note sealed with a wax drop. They did what any young girls would, laughed, thought him ridiculous, his sagging parts desperately white and vulnerable. When he took one giant step, they ran over slick shale and loose slag. A family barbecue, a din through a long column of trees. They could hear his beating breath, the rise and slap of his gait. Girls tossing rancid petals, the sky complicit, blue eye won't shut. The path grew light as the opening a winged thing stretched, snickering beautifuls running from the sex that would one day gag them with its black feathers. Chorus. Squirrels quick over a thin wire, bird following bird, footprints pressing down the yarrow nettle. When the nettle springs up, the girls are gone. Girl 2. It's fine to make a game of it, to make a shape of it. At night, we carve mothers out of black sky. Then we swim in her, fly in her, open our eyes wide in her. Girl 2. Dear, if you thread the branches in your sight line, what could you make? Constellation of what? On clear nights, we see the head of a goat and the body of a fish. On those same nights, the chokecherry whispers, Amalthea, Amalthea. Girl 1. The bride wore Italian lace sewn into interlocked stars. Each night she entered through the bedroom window 6 flights up, glided like an exhale into the kitchen and jumped to her death. Girl 2. No, not jumped, pushed. She was pushed. Tell the story right. Girl 1. The earthborn children suffered for it, sweats, fever, blue limbs weighing into water as the mother washed them down. The children slept foot to cheek in a single bed, while the mother sat upright night after night, skin so pallid as she kept watch. Girl 2. But the mother meant to fix it all back. She packed the bedclothes, closed the shades, smoothed their hair, tied their shoes, put her arms around them to diagnose the heart. Unrelenting tick. Hope, hope, hope. Chorus. The girls traveled through forests filled with bramble that caught on their hair and sliced small nicks on their arms and cheeks until the sea, where they coaxed her into bewilderment. She walked to the edge of the tide, watching sea foam pop. When the girls rushed out of waves, she tried to catch the small breath paths down to that wild pit of fear where there is no sight. Chorus. Watching waves plumb the sand, image of want. The woman unravels a mistake, drop stitch. She watches her friend carry the dead child for a week, told it's better this way, and then the after, every day from then. Some say it could have been an anxious bird lodged in her throat, or a colony of red ants coursing through her veins. She said it was an air raid siren letting loose a hollow bowl of crowing. Girl 2. I see you have packed your things. Could this mean an ending? I was told that endings signify grief. Grief is a funny word, so much energy in the grrr, only to exhale every ounce of breath. Eef. To be breathless is to die, I think. Did you hear the wind hitting the shells you've hung, or see the blue light bending through butterfly wings? Feel the sticky dust on the stamen from lilies. We were there, and there, and there. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary Lou. That was wonderful. My name is Stephen Rial. I'm going to be reading a poem that is from my upcoming book from Lily Edgemere. The name of this poem is Abel Has Almost No Immune System. My younger brother David had AIDS and he died when he was 28 years old, and this poem is about that experience. Abel has almost no immune system. 1. The red footnote on the label of the miracle drug catches my eye. Abel's in the 33% who vomit up nearly every bite. Mom and Dad told me he sobbed on the long distance call before a catheter was tunneled between his clavicle and first rib so he could feed through his subclavian. Other clinical words collide into Eden after pancreatitis, toxoplasmosis, after Abel's insurance company couldn't drop kick him fast enough. His lover works late hours to cover their mortgage. Wouldn't you? I borrow shekels to board the shuttle to their condo. Abel lies upstairs, starving. Just levering his bony 99 pounds into the bathtub hurts us both. After another 24 hours, when anyone less gone would have moaned, I'm hungry, the feeding machine arrives. Aqua plastic box like a vacuum cleaner, gleaming steel caddy, plastic tubes, plastic bags of almost fluorescent white nourishment. Welcome to the family. A nurse swings by to run through instructions as intricate as life. 1, interlocking joints. 2, kept sterile with alcohol wipes. 3, spill into Abel's core. Oh, that feels cool, he murmurs. This mission is a booby trap when each step must be followed to the iota to foil microbes. Is it possible to be precisely prophylactic forever and ever? And what if someone sleepy and or absent-minded stumbles through what's now second shift? How to gauge a turn for the worse? I am my brother's keeper. 2. Yes, my name is Cain, and I'm calling about Abel. Yes, I do have his patient ID. I want to see the bill the home health company submitted, the 3D pie charts accounting blazoned at board meetings to extol how much moolah was pinched by discharging failing policy holders into the land of Nod. For the criminal trial, our lawyers subpoena this quarter's financials, issue interrogatories to establish bloated profits the LLC diversified, how many day spas it spawned east of Eden, how many golf courses begat among thistle and thorn. 3, all evidence will be offered to Adonai. 4, I am the wobbly tiller in Abel's room who paces but must keep steady. With rigid fingers, I hold the survival of my first rival, whose birth introduced me to the murderous scythe I swing inside. This vigil will last days, only hours, in fact. Unto dust thou shalt return. His sleek alarm clock sweeps silently on while I scribble lists of specialists, lay siege to another helpline's moat. Abel has no drawbridge, 1 or 2 white cells left to rouse. One slip, one contaminated swipe. If only I could kneel beside his bed and believe. Thank you.